Lay down and relax. I shall read to you. Don't move. The moment you arrived here, something old noticed you. Your world is loud with the present, but the past is still breathing beneath it. The Middle Ages were not only castles and candles. They were doors that learned how to lock themselves, names that learned how to vanish, and places that learned how to wait. Tonight, I will show you what history tried to bury quietly. Cities that forgot daylight, books that refused their readers, roads that remembered every footstep. I was already ancient then, and I never stopped watching. Come closer. Some secrets only speak once. Mystery 1. The library that rearranged itself. In the ruins of a university town outside Bologna stood a library no one could catalogue twice the same way. Scholars who entered in daylight recorded shelves of law and medicine, only to return at dusk and find astronomy where ink once stood, poetry in the place of prayer, and blank bindings, whispering when no one breathed. At first, librarians blamed vandals. Then, they blamed madness. Finally, they stopped blaming anything at all. Books drifted quietly at night, sliding like dark fish across wooden seas. Ladders migrated. A desk, once discovered beneath a window, appeared days later pressed against a locked door. One scholar swore he saw a book close itself in annoyance when he misread its Latin. The strangest part: the shelves did not change at random. They rearranged themselves by reader. Poets found verse waiting for them like eager hands. Physicians discovered hidden volumes on diseases not yet named. One trembling theology student found a shelf labeled only with his childhood nickname. Inside it rested a single book containing memories he had never told another. Soul. Eventually, a young woman entered and did not return. After that, no one dared. When I glided across the windows, the books rustled like wings. A library, little human, should preserve knowledge. This one curated destiny. Mystery 2. mirror that remembered other faces. In a candle-lit manor near Avignon stood a mirror so old that no one remembered who had hung it. Its frame was carved with roses whose petals were worn smooth by centuries of passing hands. At a first, visitors noticed only that it reflected differently, a touch brighter, a little deeper in shadow, as though insisting every face carried one more story than it dared reveal. And then it began to misremember. A woman raised her hand. The mirror delayed her. A man smiled. The reflection frowned. Children saw strangers wearing their faces. One night, a noble woman watched her reflection turn away, though she stood perfectly still. Tafran, next morning, she was found lifeless in bed. The mirror remained warm. Visitors began appearing who had not entered. Soldiers in unfamiliar armor passed silently behind viewers. A young boy wept in the glass where no boy stood. A marriage ceremony replayed itself one afternoon on the surface, though the couple lay, buried decades deep. When the manor burned in war, the mirror did not crack. Later looters found it clean and cold among ash. I looked into it once and saw a dragon with hollow eyes. I turned away. Some reflections are not meant to be continued. Before you drift too far into dreams, little human, a small favor from an old dragon. If you've enjoyed resting here beneath my wings, consider subscribing to my hoard of stories, each new. Believer helps me gather more treasures and avoid ravaging cities for loot when I'm low on funds. I'm retired now, and my back makes sounds that haunt even me. Now, back to the story. Mystery 3. The village that forgot how to leave. Deep in a wooded valley beyond the Danube lived a small village with a path that curled inward like a sleeping serpent. Travelers who entered were welcomed kindly, given wine, bread, and clean water. The roofs were warm. The tapestries were bright. Children laughed without echo. And no one ever left. Not by choice. The path out unraveled. It twisted upon itself. Trees leaned closer day by day. Bridges remembered other shapes. A man who left at dawn, returned by dusk from the opposite direction, swearing he had walked straight without turning. People aged strangely in the village. Some grew younger. Others remained unchanged, while their spouses bent beneath years like overburdened boughs. Eventually, visitors noticed old residents who no longer blinked, children who never slept, women forever pregnant, but never birthing. A traveler carved a message into a door one night. "We are still arriving." The message disappeared by morning. When I descended into that valley, my breath fogged gold. I felt the place tasting me, understanding me, and deciding I was too large to keep. Mystery 4. The Book That Bled Names. In a monastery near Segovia, there lived a tome no scholar would willingly touch. Its pages were blank, except for one thing. Names would appear slowly, in dark ink, one by one. Anyone whose name surfaced vanished within a month, not always by death, sometimes simply gone. Empty rooms, unfinished letters, soft absence in place of a life. At first, monks burned the book. It returned the next morning. They buried it. It was back in the library that evening. They sealed it in iron and sank it in the river. It lay dry and open upon the altar at dawn. Eventually, they learned to stop reacting and simply watched. When the abbot's name bled into parchment, he packed his belongings with shaking hands. 2 days later, his cell held only dust where he once knelt. I once opened the book and saw no names, which unsettled me deeply. For dragons are not listed among your dead. Mystery 5. The road that forgot sunlight. Beyond the forests of Bavaria, travelers whispered of a road that no longer allowed day to touch it. No matter the hour, no matter the season, the sky above that stretch of stone remained black as midnight. Sunlight halted at its edges like water against glass, flooding fields on either side, while the road itself lay buried in eternal dusk. Those who entered reported something odd. Shadows behaved differently. A man's silhouette might lag a step behind his body. Torchlight flickered without flame. Even the sound of footfalls arrived a moment late, as if echoing from a place not quite aligned with the present. One merchant swore he walked it for only an hour, and emerged to find his beard had grown down to his chest. Another claimed he crossed in winter and emerged into summer, heavy with unfamiliar stars overhead. The church built a gate at each end. It rusted within a month. I once flew over it and vanished from my own reflection in the clouds. That road does not remember light. It remembers something older. Mystery 6. The Well That Knew Your Name. In a French hamlet now lost to maps stood a small stone well behind the last cottage. It had no bucket, no rope, no water visible, even when you stared directly into its throat. But if you leaned close enough, it would greet you. Not aloud, inside your skull. Each voice claimed it was someone the listener loved dearly and had lost. Mothers heard sons, widows heard husbands. A baker heard the voice of a daughter who never lived past winter. It promised small things, help, guidance, forgiveness. Those who listened longest leaned closer. Eventually, they leaned too far. When the well was sealed with brick, voices still whispered through the stone in the rain. The house behind it collapsed mysteriously a decade later and took the well with it. But the pit remains, covered in grass, faintly warm. I once lowered my head and heard nothing, which unsettled me more than voices ever could. Mystery 7. The shadow that refused a body. In Prague, following a summer when bodies fell faster than bells could count, witnesses began seeing a shadow that belonged to no one. It drifted across walls and floors as though cast by something huge passing before invisible lamps. It followed no route. It respected no barrier. It lingered in rooms where people were about to die. Doctors said it was smoke. Priests said it was sin. Children knew better. One boy swore it bent out and touched his face as he slept, though nothing touched him physically. A woman claimed it sat beside her bed the night before her heart ceased. A painter attempted to capture it. His canvas turned black and stayed wet forever. I once followed it through alleyways and found it pooling under doors like spilled ink. Whatever casts that shadow is too large to exist normally. Mystery 8. The clock that remembered births. In a Carpathian village stood a tower clock that did more than mark hours. It chimed not only time, but arrival. Whenever a child was born in the surrounding valley, its single bell rang once softly, regardless of hour. At first, villagers thought it charming. Then something changed. The bell began to ring before births occurred, sometimes days before, sometimes weeks. Mothers wept in advance. Then miscarriages rose. Stillbirths followed. Eventually, a priest shattered the bell with a hammer. That night, every newborn in town screamed at once. From that moment on, no child survived birth in the valley. The population left within a year, but the clock face still ticks, though its hands are gone. I rested one night beneath that tower. It did not strike the hour. It struck me. And for a brief moment I remembered hatching. Your journey ends here, little human. Not because the world has no more mysteries, but because your heart has had enough wonder for one night. The past loosens its grip now. Time settles its dust, and the strange grows quiet once more. Let your breath soften. Let your mind drift like an unmoored boat in calm water. Close your eyes inside the dark, where stories glow gently instead of burning. I will fold the night around you like wings. No echoes may follow you where you sleep. No shadows may claim you. No memory may frighten you. Only dreams may visit, and they will tread lightly. For you sleep beneath a dragon's watch. Good night, humans.